Florida man who killed couple and tried to eat a victim's face declared insane, not guilty. My initial reaction to a Florida man eating someone's face was it had to be drugs. It had to be bath salts or something in that category because my mind couldn't wrap around how unreal it is that someone could do this without any external influence. But no, he just went off the rails and nom nom nom. Sorry. A judge Monday ruled that accused killer Austin Harrouff is not guilty by reason of insanity in the 2016 murders of a couple at their Florida home. This doesn't offer any closure. This is actually a slap in the face to the family of this couple to find out that this man can't be held legally accountable for such a gruesome, savage attack. Harrouff fatally stabbed John Stevens III, 59, and Michelle Mishkon, 53, in a vicious and random attack that included injuring their neighbor Jeffrey Fisher, who tried to help the couple. The killings took place in Tequesta in southern Martin County in the Port St. Lucie area. The Florida University student, then 19, was found biting and chewing on Stevens' face in the man's driveway, and detectives recovered what appeared to be flesh from Harrouff's teeth. Make no mistake about it, if someone has human flesh between their teeth, safety off. You can have my gun and badge at the end of the shift, but I promise you I'm going home in one piece tonight. Deputies reported Harrouff was walking to his father's home in the neighborhood when he targeted Stevens III and Mishkon. A medical examiner who performed the autopsies on Stevens III and Mishkon stated they died quickly, which in the grand scheme of what actually happened to these poor people means nothing in the way of alleviating any grief because of the extent of their multiple injuries, records show. Investigators said an extreme amount of force, including taser use, a police dog, and multiple law enforcement officials was necessary to subdue Harrouff. Wait a minute, because just this past year alone, law enforcement has shot people to death for way less. I'm just saying, if you're going to pick and choose when to exercise restraint, why does it have to start with the guy that has the human flesh between his teeth? Make that make sense. His defense team signaled early in the case they would seek an acquittal by reason of insanity. For that to happen, Harrouff had to convince a judge he didn't know what he was doing at the time of the murders or didn't know it was wrong and couldn't appreciate the consequences of his actions. Which means to me, trying to cut through the legal jargon, that if the defense was to check off one out of those three boxes, they would have a fight. If they were to check off two of those three boxes, they would have a win. Two psychologists, one hired by the state and one for the defense, concluded that during the murders, Harrouff was suffering an acute psychotic episode. An acute psychotic episode can be a one-time occurrence, usually of sudden onset, or can occur repeatedly, or may be the early phase of chronic psychosis. If you're the family of these victims, this is a terrible pill to swallow, but coming from both the state and the defense, it's hard to accept, but it's even harder to refute. Harrouff, the experts found, was unable to distinguish right from wrong, meaning he meets Florida's criteria to be acquitted by reason of insanity. Before Circuit Judge Sherwood Bauer ruled, he listened to nearly 2 hours of sometimes angry and distraught comments from the families of Stevens and Mishkon, who often spoke directly to Harrouff as he sat motionless with three defense attorneys. If you're a judge, you already know it's going to be a long day. I'm sure that coffee was loaded. Woo. Cindy Mishkon, Michelle Mishkon's sister, spent several minutes reading aloud dozens and dozens of drug and alcohol-related text messages Harrouff sent to college friends and a girlfriend in the months leading up to the murders. He repeatedly commented on being drunk to the point of blacking out and about his nearly daily drug use. It's hard for the rational mind. It's hard for the logical mind to wrap around the idea that someone could just up and do this at random. So there being a precedent for this happening under the influence of Flocka. Flocka is bath salts. They checked them for Flocka bath salts and they didn't find anything. She insisted Harrouff was not insane when he committed the homicides. She called the findings of the mental health experts outright lies. She might not be too far off the mark, because if you only have to meet certain requirements or check certain boxes to be declared legally insane, that might be able to be coached. Here we are opening the prison doors for a double murderer, she said. Four words come to mind: white rich boy justice. Harrouff's family, including his parents, sister, and grandmother, sat silent in court, often with their heads down, as Mishkan's relatives spoke. What is there to hold your head up high about? What is there really to support him about? Jody Bruce, who was Michelle Mishkan's sister, lamented the nightmares, sleepless nights, and so many tears shed since the murders.